The ladies share. Ladies asked that one of the ladies at least asked at the beginning of the ladies share discusses what are the issues with are you allowed to say these things? You're not allowed to say these things. Whatever. It's I've been texting it out. It's just pretty straightforward.
If you're gonna start the ladies share with that, you're not gonna get to anything else.
I told him that.
I just based
anyway?
on the Sharei, what we just learned in the Sharei Tshuva, I was trying to give an Eitzah Tova to my Chaveron.
There you go.
But the women are muted anyway.
The ladies share. They don't unmute themselves. The ladies share. Difference there. You make it through, Lana. Don't worry.
They what do you call it? They just post, so you can ignore them if you.
If we don't get through the daf, we'll be until 11 o'clock.
There you go.
That's Givaldic. Learning till 11 o'clock. It's amazing.
One second. I can't believe it. Zevi just said that. I'm shocked. Peretz, you better send that Solomon over to him quickly to check his pulse. Now I'm nervous.
It's maybe because you're not around, Aaron.
Right. I think that's the shot.
Okay, we're on the bottom of Beis Amud Beis. These first few sugyas in Bava Metzia are long sugyas. We gotta hold cup a little bit. So we're a little bit in the middle. We're a little bit in the middle of a sugya. So we said that sumchas, right? We're handling sumchas the shita, right? Because sumchas said, "Maman amutu b'safik is chalken b'loy shvua," right? So what does it mean chalken b'loy shvua? Because we have no idea what's going on. You have a suffix. You have a suffix with that's shar shenogach hasaparos. We have no idea where that shar is, right? I mean, we know where the shar is. The parah is dead next to the shar. We have no idea if that shar died before the sale or after the sale. So we have no idea who owned that shar and who's on the hook for it. The buyer obviously says that the shar died before it was bought, and the seller says it was bought after it was sold, right? So that's l'chayra machlokes, but we don't know what to paskin. And Sumchus there says that it's chalkin below shvua. So why doesn't he? What would he agree with our Mishnah? Which our Mishnah has a similar situation: two guys fighting who owns a shirt. So should we say that they chalkin below shvua? So we said that Sumchus can be going like our Gemara because there's drara de mamayna. Our Mishnah, it does not have drara de mamayna. The Mishnah over there with shar shenogach hasapara is drara de mamayna, right? So again, what is drara de mamayna? So drara de mamayna, Rashi says, is somebody's going to lose money, right? Here, it could very well be that nobody's gonna lose money, right? Because it's a Metzia. So if it's a Metzia, so nobody will lose. Each one only has what to gain. But if you have, in the case by shar shenogach hasapara, if you pass in the wrong way, so then you will have a loss, right? So that's where we're holding. So we're two lines up from the bottom on Beis Amud Beis. So the Gemara says, "V'lav kal v'chaymer hu." Isn't it a kal v'chaymer? Right? Uma hasam v'ika jar the moed lamar v'ika jar the moed lamar over there, right? By a cow that was gored. So there's jar the moed to this one and jar the moed, meaning each one has a potential to lose. We don't know, right? So on Talmud Aleph, if you can also say that the whole thing goes to this one and the whole thing goes to that one, meaning there's no splitting it here. Either the cow died before it was sold or after it was sold. Either whoever you're going to paskin like is either going to win everything or is going to lose everything. But we don't know. So Amar Sumchus, there's no way to chalkin below shvua. So Sumchus says in that case where either one is a definite winner, one is a loser, and still he says chalkin below shvua, which means that somebody's for sure losing. So hacha the lekajar de mamayna. But here by the talis, where there's no jar de mamayna, you can remember the tavayuhi. It's very possible that both of them picked it up at the same time. So it's very possible that this shirt belongs to both of them. Like kol shekain, isn't it a kol shekain? You should split it without a shvua. right? And our Mishnah says they need a shvua, right? It's a pretty straightforward question. Sumchus over there, where there's one for sure a winner and one for sure a loser. Splitting it is definitely not the proper psak, right? Splitting is definitely not the proper psak. I mean, right? So, because we don't know, we don't know, but it's either one or the other. Yet you're still saying split it without a shvua. So by the talis, where it's for sure, not for sure, but it's possible that both of them have a chelik in it because they both picked it up and saying, "So there should be chalkim below shvua." The Gemara answers, "Afilu teimu sumchas." You could even say that our mission is still going according to sumchas. Shvua zum rabbanon hi k'Rabbi Yochanan. So we're saying really sumchas would agree with our mishnah. That meaning really sumchas would hold in our mishnah you split it without a shvua. But he says in our Mishnah, there's an added reason that the Rabbanan to Rabbi Yochanan. You should make a shvua anyways. Out Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan shvua zu takanas chachamim. This shvua that our Mishnah that they have to make is at takanas chachamim. Meaning again, according to Sumchus, really it's chalkim below shvua, the same way they would say by Shoshan Ogech Hasapora. But here we have a takanas chachamim to make a shvua. Because otherwise you're gonna have people running after their friend's talis, and he's going to grab it and says it's shalihu, and he knows, oh, they're just going to say split it, right? I mean, I don't know what Rabbi Yochanan expects Klal Yisrael to be like, but basically what he's saying is that if two people come into a bezdin and holding on to a shirt, the psak is going to be split without a shvua. So if a guy decides that he likes his friend's shirt, he's just grab onto it, schlep him to bezdin, and he knows he gets himself a half a shirt, right? Or the equivalent of a half a shirt. So in order to stop that, they made a derabbanan, they made a shvua. The Gemara says, fine, okay, so that's the end of that with summas. Then the Gemara says, Lema masnisim beloy Rabbi Yosi. Let's say our mission is not like Rabbi Yosi. Di Rabbi Yosi ha'amar im kein ma hipsid rama. Ela hakol yeh munachat sheyol v'yo. If you're going to split it, then the Rama, the liar, is not going to lose anything. So everything is, you put it at sheyol v'yo. So this case is, this is coming up in the third parak, where it's talking about where two guys gave money to a person to be watched. One guy gave 100, one guy gave 200. Meaning you have a banker, right? Or whoever, a guy that watches money for people. One guy gives 100, and one guy gives 200, right? And then they come to collect it, and one guy says, I gave the 200, and the other guy says he gave the 200. They're both saying they gave the 200, right? So now 100 of it definitely goes to each one of them. There's only a fight over the extra 100. And Rabbi Yossi says that if you're going to split it, then the Ramai, whichever guy here is lying, is not losing, right? So why shouldn't he make a run at it? Why shouldn't he make a run at it, right? Meaning, again, each one gave 200, one gave 100. So both of them are entitled to 100. So this guy says, oh, he overhears when he gives the money to the bank, his 100 to the bank, he overhears the other guy depositing 200. He says, hey, why don't I just go and find that the 200 is mine? And what's the worst they're going to do? If they pass me like me, great. If they don't pass me like me, I'm going to get my 100 anyways, right? So Rabbi Yossi says, you know what we're going to do in this case? To avoid that, we're going to say the whole thing's in which case the guy's risking his 100. So since he's risking his 100, he's never going to do this, right? So maybe in our Mishnah too, where two guys are fighting over the shirt, maybe according to Rabbi Yossi, we should say that put the talis away till Eliyahu Hanavi comes like this. If one of them is losing, he's going to take a risk of a loss.
Or maybe he wants to get back to other guys, then he shouldn't get the 100.
Always going to be.
It could be. There is that possibility, right? There is that possibility, but yeah, I don't know. This is like psychology and stuff and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
But here, the guy that was lying, he didn't lose anything either by lying now, because he still gets his 100. So he just didn't he didn't.
Not according to Rabbi Yossi. According to Rabbi Yossi, he doesn't get his 100 either.
Why? Okay, each one gets 100, and the third one is the one that's going to be held.
That's the Tanakama. Rabbi Yossi says none of them get anything.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's yeah. But anyway, so the question is, does Rabbi Yossi agree with our Mishnah or not? So the Chayri doesn't agree. So Gemara says, okay, Ella my Rabbanon. What are you going to say? It's a Rabbanon. Kimin dami Rabbanon. Hashari yemunuch hashiyavliyo. So Rabbanon, what Rabbanon hold? The Rabbanon hold there that each one gets 100, and the extra 100 goes to Leliyot. Right? That's why Rabbi Yossi says, well, that doesn't gain anything to anybody, because then why wouldn't a guy risk it? He's not risking his base money. Hanami kashar dami desveikahu. Here too, right? It's considered like the rest of the money, and it should be meaning the Rabbanan there say each one takes 100, and the extra 100 that they're fighting over is right? So what are they fighting over here with the shirt? They're fighting over a shirt. That should also be the extra money. And even the Rabbanan should hold Yemunach Hachiyavliyo. Why are you only saying that Rabbi Yossi? Our mission is not like Rabbi Yossi. Our mission is not like the Rabbanan either, because the shirt that they're fighting over is the extra 100. Right? Meaning the shirt that they're wearing, they're not fighting over. Let's use a mushal like that. The shirt that each one's wearing, they're not fighting over, right? So okay, so let each one take the shirt that they're wearing, and the shirt that they're holding on to, the Rabbanan should hold Yemunach Hachiyavliyo. So the mission is not like Rabbanan either. So it says, no, hi mai. Over there in the case with the 100 and the 200, 100 is definitely one of theirs. Amri Rabani Yemunach Hachiyavliyo. So the Rabbanan say Yemunach. But here, where you could say that the shirt belongs to both of them, like we've been saying, it could be that they picked it up at the same time. Amri Rabbanan. So that's what the Rabbanan say, you should split it with a shua. Meaning, so the Rabbanan for sure would say that this case is different, right? Because again, over there, that the 100 belongs to one of them, not both of them. So they say Yemunach Hachiyavliyo. But here is a possibility that the shirt taka belongs to both. But if you say it's Rabbi Yossi, Hashta, now that if in that case where there's 100 to each one, for sure, each one for sure gets 100. They're only fighting over that second 100. But here, where you could say that it belongs to one of them, like Kol Shekain, then for sure you'd have to say Yemunach Hachiyavliyo. So when it answers up people with Rabbi Yossi, you can say our Mishnah can go like Rabbi Yossi too. There is for sure a liar. In the case with the 100 and the 200, somebody's lying, right? We know that. So therefore, we're going to put the whole thing Hachiyavliyo. But who says it's a liar? Let's say both of them picked it up at the exact same time, right? So Mamela, why would you want to say Yemunach Hachiyavliyo? That's one teretz. Inami hasam kanas le Rabbi Yossi l'ramai kiyehi deloidi. There, Rabbi Yossi is giving a knas to the liar so that he'll be made. Meaning, like we said before, Rabbi Yossi wants the whole money to go Hachiyavliyo. Why? Because the liar will be taking a loss. So then hopefully this will flush out the liar. But Hacha might say the Islay l'doidi. Here, what's the loss? Right? What would be the loss that they're being made? Right? There's no loss to them. So therefore it's not going to mean anything. Saying what it says, Tinach Metzia. Remember we said in the Mishnah when it said Za'amar Kula Za'amar Nima Tzia. Za'amar Kula Shali, right? So we said one is talking about a Metzia and one is talking about Mekach Memka. So Tinach Metzia. Mekach Memka Ma'ikula Meimar. What are we going to say about Mekach Memka? Meaning Mekach Memka, somebody is taking the loss, right? The case of Mekach Memka is where each one gave money and paid for something. This one's saying I got it, and this one's saying it was sold to me, right? So what are you gonna do about that? Somebody is not taking the loss. So it's clear that we go with the first teretz, and the reason why Rabbi Yossi would admit in our case is because there is a possibility that both of them picked it up at the same time. Fine.
Why are we removing this teretz even from the Metzia case? There's nothing untrue about it. It is true that Rabbi Yossi wants to punish the Ramay so it'll be Maida. In the Metzia case, that doesn't exist. So it's still a good answer for Metzia. It's just not a good answer for Mekach Memka.
But I guess we wanted to fit with the whole Mishnah. Right?
Doesn't mean machvartik the shenina meikar. There's no need for that. And obviously there is, because the Gemara says it.
Yeah, because I think they'd rather have the teretz fit according to both shitas. No? I know it's a balabatish teretz. I'm sorry. It's Matzah Shabbos. It works. All right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so then the Gemara says, Bein Rabbanan, Bein Rav Yosi, whether we go according to Rabbanan, whether we go according to Rav Yosi, Hasam Gabi Chenveni al Pinkasai, by Chenveni on his notebook, the Katani Zenish Bavanoito, Zenish Bavanoito, where we learn that by Chenveni al Pinkasai, right, again, that's the case, we learned it on Friday, we'll just chazer it over. Chenveni al Pinkasai is, the Chenveni is going to, what was the case again? He had to pay his workers. So instead of paying his workers, he asked the store owner to give food to the workers, and he'll pay for the food, right? And what happened is that the store owner says, "I gave them the food," and they deny ever getting the food. So they're both going to the balabayis and asking him for the money, right? So by Chenveni Am Pekasi, the Katani Zenish, Bavanoito, this one swears and takes it, this one swears and takes it. But each one goes to the balabas and swears and takes it. What's the difference? Why don't we say there that with the say somebody in the case of Chenveni Al Pinkasa, again, which means the store owner on his notebook, somebody there is lying. Right? Again, the case was where the employer said to the store owner, pay, give food to my guys, and I'll pay you. Right? And the store owner says, I gave the food, and the workers say they never got it. And they're both coming after the balabais. So somebody is lying. Right? So why don't you say over there? The Bavada Ikaram is for sure a liar. Because there the Chenveni tells the Balabais, right? I did your shlichus. I mean, you asked me to do you a favor, give food to your workers, and you'll pay me. I don't even know who your employee is, right? So let's say you're going to make him make a shvur to me. I don't care. I don't care if he makes a shvur from today till tomorrow. I don't know your employer. I know you. I don't know your employee, right? So he makes a shvur. So what? It's meaningless to me. And you, I believe you, right? Meaning, you didn't make sure to tell me that this guy is not on the up and up, and make sure to give him food with witnesses there, so then I'll be able to prove it, right? Meaning you, he's saying you, the employer, you believe your employees by telling them to come to me and get food. You should have told me to do it with witnesses. You didn't. Mela, you are responsible, right? And that's what the store owner is going to tell the balabais. And the sacher, the employee, is going to tell the balabais, meaning his employer, I did work for you. What do I have to do with the chenveni that he's going to pay my salary? Even if the chenveni, the store owner, swears to me, he's not believed to me. I don't care. Because each one has this taina, that's why they swear and take from the balabayas. Right? So we get into a whole psychology over here. Right? Basically, really, it should be right? But each one of these guys tells the balabayas, he's like, I have no shaykhs to your guys. So it doesn't make a difference to me. It doesn't make a difference to me if they make a shvu or not. Fine. Tani Rab Chia. So now we get into the sugya of Maida b'miktzas, right? Gershon, that's what it's called. Maida b'miktzas, right? This is Maida b'miktzas.
Yes.
Yeah, each sugya here in the beginning of Metzia has like the yeshivish phrase for it. So this last one was Drara the Mamayna. Now we're on to Maida b'miktzas. Then we get into Halach. Next one is Halach. Then it's Tok v'Koyin. I think, right? Am I missing one between Helach and Tafukayim? I don't think so. Right? Okay, those are the code words. If you want to sound impressive to your kids, if you have ever kids over there, you learned at the beginning, you're done with Helach, you're done with Metzia, they already think you're a big guy. If you can, if you know the slang.
I hope they just don't ask any question after that.
You hope they stop asking any questions.
Right, exactly.
You say, no, all you have to do is say, Eidim. If they say, well, what's the thing? You say, Shvua. I don't know why it doesn't make a Shvua. Just throw that out, and then they're going to think that you also give out, right? Okay. Anyways, Tani Rabchia.
Well, tell him, you don't believe me, I'll make a shvua. No.
Very good. You can do that. You can do that too. Yeah. So Tani Rabchia. So Manali B'Yadcha. So the guy tells him, we had this in Bava Kama also. He goes to the guy and says, you owe me $100. Manali B'Yadcha. There's 100 that belongs to me in your hand. And this one says, there's nothing. I don't owe you anything. But normally, so we had in Bava Kama, the guy admits, I owe you half. Meaning he comes and says, you owe me 100. And you say to him, I only owe you 50. So that's a maidim and miktas. And he has to make a shvua on the other half. That's the regular din. Here, he denies the whole thing, but Eidim come and say that he owes half. Right? So it's a whole different wrinkle here. In the classic case of maidim and miktas is one guy says, you owe me 100. And the guy answers it back and says, I only owe you 50. So the din there is maidim and miktas. He has to make a shvua because he admitted to half. Here, he didn't admit, but Eidim said he owes half. Right? Again. The Eidim say he has 50. So so the chiddush that Reb Chia is saying is that he has to make a shua on the rest, just like as if he admitted it himself. Why? So that you shouldn't say that Haidah with your mouth, meaning if he would have been Maida, he's chayav a shua. So we're not going to say that somebody who's being Maida is stronger than Eidim, right? And how do we know that? From a kavachayim, right? On the surface of it, it sounds right. I'm saying that, meaning Eidim are supposed to be very strong. So if he admits himself, is required to make a shvua. So if Eidim say that he owes half, then for sure he should be required to make a shvua. The Tanatuna and our Tana learns this, meaning we can learn this out from our Tana. Why? Two people holding on to a talis. Right? Each one says, even the toughest, since each one is holding on to it, anan sadi, the toughest haididehu, the toughest haididehu. It's an anan sadi. We clearly see that what each one's holding on to, the portion of the shirt that each one is holding on to, is his. Right? Fikatani, and the rest of it's not his. So it's almost as if he's being maida on the other half that the other guy's holding, that it belongs to him. Right? Vikatani Yeshava, and we learned in the Mishnah that they have to make a shvua. So l'chayra, our Mishnah is a proof to this. Again, our Mishnah is where two guys come in holding the shirt, right? So let's say one guy holds on to the left arm of the shirt, the other guy holds on to the right arm. So we're on a non-sadi.
Where's the non-sadi? I don't understand. Why is it a non-sadi? Where's the edus?
Anybody can tell that the part, anybody could tell that the part that each one is holding is theirs.
How do you know you didn't grab it?
You don't know that, but right now,
non-sadi establishes that there's an edus and therefore he's allowed to keep it.
Correct.
So where's the non-sadi? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Possession.
Possession. I wonder if I take your car, it's a non-sadi that I'm in the car and it's mine now.
No, but we don't know what on the surface. Two guys come in, each one's holding onto a shirt. On the surface, the way it looks as it comes into Bezdin, it looks like this guy has his half of the shirt, this guy has his half of the shirt, and they're fighting over the other guy's half. Right? That's the way it looks like. But before they open their mouths, before they do anything, that's what each one looks like.
Why is that an edus? Why is that of a din edus?
Because on Anan Sadi has a din of edus.
I'm saying, why is it a din edus?
That's just the klal of Sadi. That's the rule of an Anan Sadi. Anan Sadi is basically, we know that this is what it is.
Well, we don't. In Besson, we don't know.
The surface, when they come in, that's what it looks like. Each one has half. That means they're fighting. The other one wants the other guy's half. Right? Yes, I hear what your kasha is. I hear what your kasha is. But Anan Sadi.
China.
Yeah, it's hard to understand. It's hard to understand. At least right now, this is what we're thinking the Anan Sadi is. Right? Now, I mean, where Anan Sadi works. Zev, you said we can go to 11 o'clock, or we can make it go to 12 o'clock if we go this way. I don't know if Ramesha brings this proof is that Anan Sadi is Eidus to Chol of Yisrael, but that's what Ramesha is going with, that he says that our milk is Chol of Yisrael. It's an Anan Sadi based on the FDA. The FDA, we know, is makbid that they don't mix in treifa milk, right? So we're an Anan Sadi, which means that we know for sure that it's not, there's only cow's milk in it. So there's if a yid saw it, right? That's where Ramesh is coming from, to say that all our milk is Chol of Yisrael. We call it Chol of Stam because everybody just wants to differentiate, but according to Ramesh, it's Chol of Yisrael. The Anan Sadi is Chol of Yisrael. So the Anan Sadi here is saying that each half that each one has belongs to themselves. Right? Okay, so that's the proof. But Gemara is going to get back to this. So first, the Gemara says, what is this kavachayim? Right? What's a kavachayim? So Gemara says, that we shouldn't say that admitting is that only in where the Torah, where a person admits that he owes part of the money, that's when we make a shul, like Rabbah, which we had in Bava Kama, though in the end of Bava Kama. Even that part I remember. The Amar Rabbah, how come when somebody's maida that he owes part of the money, he makes a shul, right? So we say chazaka, and then we get into psychology. Chazaka ain't other mayas panav b'nei v'achayv. There's a chazaka. A person will not have the gall to tell a guy who lent him money. He's not going to have the gall to deny that the guy never lent him the money. Nobody's going to have that gall.
Yeah, you can't say that anymore.
Okay. Whether you want to say that the Metzia has changed, you know better than the rest of us, right? But right, you can't say it. You can't with that. But the Gemara is saying the rule is a person will not lie straight to somebody who lent him money. Really, he really does want to deny the whole thing. And this, why didn't he deny it? Because a person is not going to have the chutzpah to deny it. Until mid-base now. So then really, because he doesn't have the chutzpah, he really would admit to the whole thing. Only problem is he doesn't have the money. And this that he wasn't made is because he is pushing him off. What's his lumdus? I'm going to push him off until I get money, then I'm going to pay him back. Right? This is like the beginning of every Ponzi scheme starts with this. Right? I'm going to push him off till right, tries to make money from somebody else and borrow to pay him back. We have all sorts of shtick. We're going to put a shua on him so that he's maida, meaning he's going to justify denying part of it because he's going to get the money. So the Torah says we're putting a shua on him. But this whole justification only applies when he admitted. So if he admitted, then we put into effect this whole thing. Right? Hadas Adam the
Let's say the Rabbanan do make a shua for somebody who denies everything.
What do you mean?
That's not true.
I mean, stam if a guy that's the eight echad makes a denial. We're going to make him he has to have an eight. Stam denies this. We don't make him make a shul. I don't think.
We're not worried that because the guy doesn't have the money to pay back, he's gonna swear falsely. No, that he wouldn't do.
Was not going to have the.
Meaning he's right. He's admitting part of it because he doesn't have the money. He's trying to buy time, right?
Yeah,
I'm saying that's what's happening now. He doesn't have the money, so he's right. So he's
Right, but he's not going to have the goal to deny the whole thing. That much you won't have the
So therefore, we're going to make a shvu on him, right?
correct.
And he's not, and we're not worried that he's gonna swear falsely because he doesn't have the money. That's why he
No.
got into this case to
No.
begin with. He doesn't have the money right now.
People seems that people are makbid on shvua.
Okay.
That's what it seems. Okay, but this whole thing doesn't apply by Hadas Adam because he's denying the whole thing, and Adam are coming and saying that he owes half. Hadas Adam, the lekalamemer hachi. You can't put this whole lumdus in because Lamaisa, the guy denied the whole thing, which maybe means that he taka doesn't owe it. So Aimaloi. So I would say maybe he doesn't make a shvur, kamash malon, kavachaymer. We learn from this the kavachaymer that he still has to because if an aid now okay, so what's the kavachaymer? Well, my kavachaymer. Now this is going to take us for another block. Amud and change, right? Uma piv she'en mechayev mammon mechayev shvur. So the mouth cannot be mechayev money, right? Which we're going to see in a minute why it's not mechayev money, but just the mouth is not mechayev money. Eidim shemechayev noisei mammon, but eidim that are mechayev mammon, eidim shemechayev noisei shvua, is it not a kavachaymer that they're going to be mechayev shvua, right? So again, if a mouth is not mechayev mammon, can be mechayev shvua, right? Meaning when he admits the part of it. So witnesses that are mechayev mammon isn't a kavachaymer that mechayev shvua. Gemara says, "Upiv ein mechayev mammon." Is the mouth not mechayev mammon? Right? So Haidos Baldin Kameya Edim Dami. We know that if somebody admits something, it's like 100 Edim. Right? So you see that it could be mechayev b'pei. When a guy admits to something, it's as if 100 Edim testify. So when it says my mammon knas, mammon is knas, right? Which we know that moedev knas is patur mapiv shein mechayev knas. So the mouth, which cannot be mechayev knas, mechayev shvua can be mechayev shvua. So edim shemechayev noisei knas, edim that are mechayev knas, any din shemechayev noisei shvua is in the kavachaymer. Edim shemechayev shvua. And what it says, okay, but that's not necessarily kavachaymer because ma'ala piv she can mechayev carbon. Piv can be mechayev carbon, right? Meaning, if a guy says by mistake I did an avera. So he brings a carbon. Tamer be'edim she'em mechayev noisei carbon. Edim cannot be mechayev a carbon, right? Because what are you going to do? Two edim are going to say that a person ate chaylev, right? So all the guy has to say, yeah, you're right, I did eat chaylev, but I'm not chayiv. I did it by mistake, right? So then he doesn't have to bring a chatas. So you see that the mouth is stronger. So when it says Olei Kasher, Reb Chia Meir Svirele, Reb Chia goes like a Meir. The Amar Edim Mechayev Noisei Carbon, and Edim are Mechayev Carbon. The Kavachaymer from a Kavachaymer. It's not. We don't do the Mishnah. Amar Loi Shnayim Achal Techelev. Two guys say to him, you ate chaylev. But who Amar Loi Achal? Then he says, I didn't. Reb Meir Mechayev Acham Patim. The Meir says Chayev. The Chacham say Patim. Amar Meir Imeviu Shnayim Lidei Misa Chamura. Loi we do they Carbon Akal. If two Adam could come and be mechayev a guy misa, will they not be mechayev a guy a carbon, which is much more lenient? Amrullah Nacham say back then, Mam Yitzalem amazing you see potter. How can Adam be mechayev anybody anything? The guy could just say I did it on purpose, right? Meaning, what are Adam going to come and say? Oh, this guy did a chatas by mistake, so therefore he's chayev to bring a carbon. He's going to say I didn't do it by mistake. I did it on purpose. So how did the Adam ever know? So the Memela Adam cannot be mechayev anybody in a carbon. Okay, so then the Gemara says, so we have a different way to say piv. Elamala piv, shekain mechayev asham. Maybe the mouth is stricter because it could be mechayev somebody to bring a carbon asham. Right? Meaning the asham we know is when if somebody lies and he makes a shvur, right? Then he has to pay. He has to bring carbon asham and he has to pay a fifth, right? So that is piv. So Gemara says asham hainu carbon. Asham is a carbon, right? So you hold that Edim can be mechayev carbon too. Ela ma'ala piv shekei mechayev chaimish. So piv can be mechayev chaimish, like we just said. If somebody admits that he lied and he swore falsely, he pays a chaimish, right? But if Edim come and say the guy lied, he does not pay a chaimish. So it says, "Alikasha Reb Chia, Reb Meir Svira le Reb Chia holds like Reb Meir. Yehechin mechayev le carbon mekav v'chaymer, mechayev le chaymish mekav v'chaymer." The same way that he's mechayev a carbon from kav v'chaymer, so he's mechayev him a chaymish from a kav v'chaymer. Okay. So Gemara says, "Elamala piv shekain eneva chasha v'azama." Piv maybe is more strict because it's not in hakchasha and it's not in hazama, right? Meaning, if a guy is maida over 100, and then Adam come and say that he's not chayav anything, he's not potter because he does paldin kameya Adam. So you say about hakchasha, and also there's no way to make Adam to make zayim on a piv. So maybe that's a chumrah. Tarma be'Adam sheyeshem hakchasha v'azam. To say by Adam that it is an hakchasha v'azam. Right? So basically the Gemara shlugged it up and said you can't learn out from piv, because again we wanted to make a chavuk. Remember that piv can be mechayev. So then kol shekain Adam. So now we're saying it's not true. There is a place where piv is more chamer. There's no Adam, there's no zayim on a piv, and there's no hakchasha on the piv. Ella asim eid echad. So we're going to learn how to kav chamer from eid echad. Uma eid echad shein mechayev mammon. Mechayev shu, and eid echad cannot require anybody to pay money. If you bring one witness to Bezdin and say, "Oh, he's chayev money," they're not going to be mechayev to pay. But a shvua, he can be mechayev. So Adam shemechayev noisem mammon, but Adam that could be mechayev mammon and Adam shemechayev noisem shvua. Then isn't it a kav chamer that even mechayev him to make a shvua? Okay, the Gemara continues on, but we'll stop here for a lack of a better place, and we'll continue it again tomorrow, Bez Hashem. Okay, tell him. Pei Gimel. Shir mizmal asaf elim adam milach atech rosh al tishkoit el yinei yavach yaman masanecha nasura shalam chayim v'soy yisrael tzol tzvonecha amru l'chu v'nakidim v'goy v'lo yizach Hashem yisrael ait b'no yitzu v'yachtav alecha b'sichroitzu alei adam yishmeelim yov agrim v'ol v'amoin v'amolik v'leshes v'yoshe tzal v'asham v'imam ha'yisrael v'nei lo yitzela Asaylam Kimidian Kisisro Kiyal Manachal Kishan Nishmu Vendara Yadam Allah Damash Semeni the Bamer Kair Mikazeva Vizavah Samuna Konasifema Asher Amru Nishalan West Noisalim Hashasema Gagal Kakash Neruach Kesh Mayo Flawat Light Harm Came to the famous Arach of Sivas Valim Malay Man Colin Vakshish and Pa de Noi Evoishi Balade Yahu Yaveda Viedu Katashim Kadanel Vadel Yon Colores Achinu Kabis Israel Hanasulam Tatsara Vashivia Find them in Yom Vayim Elosh and Mafim and Afim and Yom Yatzim Tzal Roch Meyachil Laira Meshil the Gula Ashtab Agalav is man Karib and Amar Amen.
Amen. Shkach. Gute Nacht.
A good talk and the Surah's Tavis. All right. Guess we got to get off for the next year. All right. Sagas and Surah's Tavis.
Shkoyach.
Nice.